If you're a football lover like me, and not this football, but this football, then you likely get excited when this tournament comes around. Every 4 years, the best teams around the world battle it out to see who can claim the world. But while the winning country claims the world, FIFA claims the profit. Revenue made from the World Cup is always expected to be an upside for FIFA commercially. With every campaign, host governments and cities are often burdened with local and public costs. And this is not to say FIFA isn't spending its fair share for the tournament, but when the events are over, what economic upside is there for the host country? So I'm making this video because recently the Senator of New Jersey proposed a tax increase around the regions the World Cup will be in, which made me wonder, what is America actually losing in this upcoming tournament? I love the World Cup, I watch it every year, I have plenty of memorable moments from it, and I love the fact that I'm seeing my favorite sport being played in America, which just recently started being open to the sport, football or soccer in America, as they would call it. But I also know about the downside countries get post-World Cup. And with this new one coming up, there's been plenty of issues, which is making me wonder, how is America gonna look after this World Cup? I'm not saying that the issue is severe to the point the economy will tank, but it can put a hit on the regions of America which will feel the circumstances of their city after the World Cup. And now this Jersey thing brings to light whether it's worth having a World Cup if American taxpayers are eating the short end of the stick. If you look at the previous 5 World Cups, you see that the host country spent way more than FIFA does. In the last World Cup alone, Qatar's government spent 120 times more than what FIFA spent. This 220 billion wasn't just used to build new stadiums, but also for airport expansion, highway, hotels, and metro. To be straightforward, it was part of Qatar's plan to transform their city, them wanting to move Qatar from a country relying on oil as their main commodity to one which doesn't because of other diverse sectors. Despite the cost, countries who host the World Cup use it as a way to boost their economy, which gives it a premium look. So then why America? I mean, currently we're the world's reserve currency and have the highest GDP in the world. And to be fair, we are hosting this tournament with Mexico and Canada. But they're each hosting 13 matches compared to the US's 78 matches. That's 6 times more matches being played in the US than in both countries. Not to mention the final being hosted in Jersey, which can be another reason why they'd want to increase taxes. But just like Jersey, other cities are feeling the pressure too. Let's look at Kansas, for example, which will be a main training base for Argentina, especially if this man plays. They're expecting 650,000 visitors to land at their main airport during the duration of the tournament. The airport is on the western part of Kansas, and the games will be played on the eastern part, where the stadium is isolated in suburbia, with no real walkable paths and only 4,000 parking spots, which will probably be already reserved for exclusive people and fans. This leaves the bus and transit routes as the only scalable option to get a majority of the fans to the stadium. They already have one route that leads to the stadium, but it runs hourly and couldn't handle the swarm of people going to watch the matches. This is where Connect KC26 comes in, a system rolled out by Transportation Director Jason Sims. These are controlled routes to key places during the tournament's run. From the airport to the stadium, these services are layered on top of Kansas City's existing transit. They're aimed to service visitors who want to go to regional destinations as well as the stadium. But even with this quick fix for people, routes can still be overwhelming due to superfans from heavyweight teams. And the estimated $653 million that's supposed to boost the city's economy and help out local businesses is good, but can also highlight the city's ongoing frustration with homelessness. The state rolled out a program to help with unsheltered people trying to find housing, but many people question if it's just a facelift to not underwhelm visitors. So Kansas seems to have a plan without things getting too crazy. And without any external help, the funds they used for these routes were supposed to be for getting new buses for the city, but it made sense to use the money on hiring more drivers for the World Cup. With the government allocating $100 million to host states for transit, Kansas couldn't just sit there and wait for the cash to be released. The World Cup is in a couple of months, and stalling any longer probably would have hurt them trying to get the money to cover these routes. Now, take a look at Boston, another host city. The games are being played at the Gillette Stadium, which is technically in Foxborough, Massachusetts. And the stadium is owned by this family. They're the same family that owns the New England Patriots and the New England Revolution. Now that the World Cup is approaching, the town needs to spend an extra $8 million to pay for roads, cops, and etc. to keep it safe during the 39 days. But if the town pays it, it will come out of residents' property tax. Hence why they want the Kraft family to pay it, because they're playing in their stadium. But I can't say that's the only reason. Every city has a host committee, one that plans out a strategic way of going about the 39 days. They're a nonprofit and they're paid through sponsorships and federal payments. Since they had no cash up front to pay the town without going bankrupt, Kraft family stepped in to not cause a PR mess. It's these type of situations host cities have to handle because of the financial obligation their deal with FIFA put them through. So again, if Jersey decides to raise taxes, would they be entirely wrong? They can just look at their co-host cities and see how they're dealing with the downpour of World Cup prep before the summertime. Like I mentioned before, I love the World Cup. It's one of my favorite tournaments, and the fact that I'm in one of the host cities might just make it even more memorable. But I'm just hoping that post-World Cup, there's not a dead stamp left on these cities. We'll just have to see how it works out. That's all for this video. Comment below and let me know your thoughts on what you think about the cities hosting this World Cup.